Well, welcome back to Dev Diaries. Today we're going to be talking about Dev Diary 125 and something that has been alluded to, definitely wanted since launch, but the developers initially started talking about potentially having this in the game back in 1.3 Heinlein, and now in 2.2 Le Guin. It's finally here, the Galactic Market and trade routes. So, first of all, the Galactic Market, it's something that's already been talked about a little bit in the past with various live streams and whatnot. A lot of this stuff is still definitely a work in progress, so keep everything in mind when it comes to that. And also, the final numbers are clearly not final. So, the market is a new interface, which is then accessible in your game, most likely through the big drop-down menu, which is getting larger and larger with every single expansion, where you can buy and sell resources, kind of what you would do at a market. Now, you can buy these resources with just energy credits, but you can buy any material available, such as minerals, food, alloys, luxury goods, modes, gases, and a whole bunch of other strategic goods as well. And also something that has been alluded to a little bit in the past that's not really been discussed whatsoever, which is this new icon on the bottom right of the trade window, which is arcane technology. That's right, arcane technology is also coming to the game, but we haven't really gotten a lot of information about that so far. So why the free market? It's there so it's not possible to make money on a massive scale. So for instance, if you buy stuff, the cost of that item on the market will go up. If you sell something, then the next time you sell, the cost will go down. Now, obviously, everybody buys and sell from the safe market, so it means it goes up and down, which hypothetically means that you can make a hilarious amount of money if you buy in at the right time and buy out at the right time. Now, the good thing is you can buy any resources that you want, as mentioned before. You can set a maximum and minimum price for that particular item. So minimum sale cost or maximum purchase cost. So basically, you will always have a certain amount of materials available for that price. Of course, you can just ignore the price as well and just buy straight up, but price fluctuations will be a thing. You can set up automatic trades as well. So every month I want to have, say, 5 minerals, and that will cost me 15 energy. That's significantly more than it would cost at the traders, but of course, final numbers are not final. Now, there's two variants of the market. There is the internal market that you will start out with, which is basically to simulate your economy, the trade corporations, or any sort of institutions within your empire, and also the Galactic Market. Now, the Galactic Market is a global market, and basically it works a little bit like this. Once a species has met 50% of all the other empires in the galaxy, they will found the Galactic Market. Now, that Galactic Market is a single station, it's a special station, and a map marker near their capital system. And their capital system will then become the market capital, which is kind of cool because it means that you may or may not be able to push things a little bit quicker when it comes to your market potential. A space Venice springs to mind, which is kind of cool. Any empire that is intrinsically hostile, say exterminators, maybe assimilators, devouring swarms, they will only have access to the internal market, although the developers are currently playing around with those ideas as of right now. And the control of the market gets also a reduction in market fee, because yes, there is a market fee. It is currently set to 30%. And of course, as you go through technologies or get civics and whatnot, maybe some traditions, ascension perks, that value will go down also. And of course, if you are the controller of that market capital, that will be lower as well. Of course, you can just conquer it as well. And also increased trade value for their trade routes, which is something that is going to be discussed in a later Dev Diary. But those words, trade routes, by themselves are already enough to titillate the senses and make anybody's trading loins go moist. Now, prices on the Galactic Market will always be lower than those on the internal market. It's not really specific. It's not really specified if there is going to be separate tabs for the different markets or not, or whether or not you're going to be automatically trading on the Galactic Market once it becomes available. But we shall see. So every time a mineral is sold on the market, prices will drop, and every time they will go or bought, the prices will increase, as we've already discussed earlier. And there's an example being given here. It's entirely possible, let me just quote this here: the purchase and sales price on the Galactic Market will not just affect your own prices, but also those of other empires, so that it's possible for to massively drive up food prices by purchasing them for a huge amount and damaging the economy of any empire that is reliant on importing food. Sadly, without any sort of espionage system, we won't know really what sort of materials they're importing unless it's specified on a separate screen somewhere, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, there will always be materials available. It will never run out of goods. There won't be a shortage, just a higher cost or reduced cost. So yeah. Also, some strategic resources, dark matter, etc., will not be available unless they are available on the market in large enough quantities. And they are also only available on the global market, or at least the Galactic Market. So yeah, you can specialize your economy and basically corner the market in a certain material and then sell stuff for an exorbitantly large price, which is kind of cool. Space Venice, once again, comes to mind. Very cool stuff here. Really looking forward to this. Finally, there are some modifications for the trader enclaves. They've been changed twice before already. Initially in Leviathans when they came out, where you could just literally dump your minerals and energy in and get a half the amount of well, minerals or energy back, and then they added food trading to that, and then it became monthly trading. And now once again in 2.2 it's going to be overhauled a little bit, and basically what happens there is that the enclaves will sell the rarer materials such as crystals, motes, and gases, and they can basically do monthly trades as before, but apparently at advantageous prices, which is kind of nice. So that's tier 1. At tier 2, which is when you gain a 50% opinion modifier, they will be able to sell you a special governor leader type with unique trade and commerce related traits. Very similar to in the past, where if you had a 50% opinion modifier with a enclave, you would be able to buy their special resources. So that's kind of cool. And then finally, if you control their home system and the enclave, and you have a 50% opinion with them, you'll be able to build a special star-based building in that system, which lowers your market fee, allowing for cheaper trading on the Galactic Market. That's kind of cool. I would like to point out, however, that of course there is only 3 trader enclaves in the game, and every single one of them will be focused on one of the rare resources. So one for rare crystals, one for motes, and one for exotic gases. So keep that in mind once a final crisis comes bustling through the galactic trade lanes and starts destroying trader enclaves left, right, and center, especially with the Great Khan. That can cause some serious problem and cause some market issues. But you could always stockpile them and see the stuff coming from a long way away, and then sell on the market and for ridiculous amount of resources, which is kind of cool. Of course, there's a little slave market button here. Apparently, the developers are not comfortable talking about that yet. It's not been done, so it's something that is going to be covered in a later Death Diary. So, next week, we're going to be talking about Lagoon 2.2 and specifically sectors and factions. Factions, I've done a video about in the past that I'm not particularly happy with how they currently function, how they are very much railroady and don't give you the right details on what to do, what, where, and how, etc. And sectors, which has always been the bane of a lot of people, and thankfully right now you can directly control them rather than let them do their own thing. But yeah, that's something we're going to be talking about next week, and we'll see how they are going to change with the new tile system, or at least lack of tile system and planetary development. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and, as always, each other.